Hmm. Well, I'm over here at the L&N Depot, of course, admiring the little lake that's beside the gazebo, well, the shed, whatever that is. Like it rained pretty good last night. It was like just pretty much nonstop the whole night long, and so we got a lot of rain, and it's nice and sunny today, kind of drying out and all. But where are my little hand things? I don't know where my hand things are. Anyway, I don't know. I probably don't need it right now. But anyway, it's pretty nice out here. It's sunny, feels good. It's a little chilly. It's not really bad, but it's something you might want to put on a light jacket for. It's not really bad, but there's people jogging around the track here, and I'm like, well, do I really want to go out here and walk? And people run up behind me constantly. I don't know. Until I mean, I was out here apart, and I named the video the live. Then I started looking. I saw one set of people running one way, and another set of people run the other way, and then there's some other people walking the opposite direction. I like to have the track to myself, pretty much for the most part, anyway. So just kind of admiring all this pleasant looking weather we have. The trees are getting greener, and as you can see, that water's draining off from over there from all that rain we had. There's an L&B appliance store. I used to take. They got like a little basement underneath there. I swear, me and my son used to go to karate at Ishinru Karate. Well, he started first, and I kind of started in, and that was oh 12, maybe 13, 14, 15 years ago, 17 altogether. I think we stayed for a couple of years, and it was fun. We enjoyed it. Enjoyed it while it lasted. But far as me, I did taekwondo um, whenever I was younger. Back in the mid 90s, I did taekwondo. I think it was like 96, 97, about 30 some odd years ago. I did taekwondo. And as you can see, I like doing the thing about Amy Lynn Bradley and stuff and all this other things. Uh, I'm trying to get back to the Bible stuff. Um, I'm trying to get more for horse, not lose them. I just don't know what y'all like. I have no idea really pretty much what y'all like and everything. So I don't know if you like videos as far as me doing the sleep earmuff things or doing the earmuff things all together, the hearing protectors. I don't know if you like the Bible stuff. That was the whole intention of the video of this channel anyway, was to be stuff about the Bible and things of that nature. And a while back, I did the thing with katanas and stuff and machetes and swords and cutting, bottles, water bottles and stuff. I don't know how well I'm at that kind of stuff anymore. I'm not young as I used to be, and of course I had a different job back then. It's amazing too. I made less money doing that job, but I was good. I was well off. But now I make more money, and I'm not well off. I mean, it doesn't seem that way anyway. Uh, and hell, I used to get paid 2 weeks over there too. It was like when I first got here, when I first started, it was $10 an hour. And now, if you start at $10 an hour on a security job, you must be out your dang mind. You must be crazy. I went from $10 an hour to $12 an hour, and then as time went on, I was like, man, I ain't going back to that. 13, $14 an hour. Yep. And then now it's 15, 16. Probably another 5 years, it'd be $20 an hour. But anyway, it's things have changed. Past 15, 16, 17 years, things changed. And that's about how long I've been here. This coming August will be, oh Lord, what will it be? Um, It'll be 18 years. August 20th will be 18 years since I've been here in Tennessee. And I got to tell you, I do miss home. I do miss my home, South Carolina. I really do miss it. And I haven't been home since my dad died. And that was like getting on. This July will be 12 years since I've been back there and everything. So I've been wanting to get back, and see folk and everything and see how everything's going and all that and the other, see how things have changed. But it just, I haven't been able to. And so I was hoping to get to do that, and I might very well may be able to do that. I don't know. I might be able to take a week off from work and everything, and see if I can do that. The company I work with now seems to be a really nice, laid back company, and matter of fact, I just got the accidental death insurance with them for $3,000, and then I think the annual cost is like $10. So if something ever happens to me, my son gets $3,000. So far I am. Yes, so far I am. I'm watching these people jog around trying to get into motivation, and I need to hurry up and do it, because though time has changed, it's kind of went ahead. The sunlight is not really changed, though. I mean, gradually the days will become longer, and the daylight savings time sprung ahead and everything, and all that. But the sun is going to be catching up with it pretty soon. But even with that, the more sunlight I got, like right now, technically is, to think about it, if we never had the time, if we never had daylight savings, whatever spring had, right now it would be like, it says 6:13 on my thing here, so it would be actually 5:13. So another hour or so it'll start getting dark, about 7 and close to 8ish, whatever. But that's about the time I need to go home, take about an hour nap, and I'm finding that's a lot better to do. Get home around about 8 or so if I need to. If I like do this right here, and there's a couple times where I sweated pretty good because it was warmer. And go home and take me a quick shower, and everything, and wash up and get ready, take a nap, get ready to go to work, and sit there all night pretty much, and hardly nothing happens. It's dull and it's boring at times. Sometimes we get a little bit of traffic coming in, but I mean, just getting them to watch the video, stuff like that, sign them in, make sure they have a hazmat thing on their license, make sure they have a respirator, safety hard hat and glasses if they need it, stuff like that, safety glasses, all that fun stuff. It's really easy to do. Call in certain things, this, that, and the other. So laid back. They didn't really show me a whole lot what to do over there, because I'm not going to be doing a whole lot, on my shift particularly. So if I ever have to work second shift again to kind of fill in for somebody, I won't know how to act. I'm like, hopefully I'll be working with somebody, because I'll be like, I ain't done a lot of this. But yeah. My state. Oh, I'm in Tennessee, East Tennessee to be more specific. That's over there next to the mountain part of it, butted up next to North Carolina and everything. I'm probably about I'm in east, kind of like the lower part of East Tennessee. Not too far. Let's see, less than 100 miles away from the Georgia border. I'll just say it like that. not too far away from Georgia. Oh, really? Translation. Oh. I'm a little bit north of Chattanooga, probably about 60 miles north of Chattanooga. Northwest of Chattanooga. There we go. And oh my gosh, bless your heart, Alabama. My son goes there quite a bit. He drives a fabrication truck. He drops some prefab stuff off, whatever. He goes to Alabama. He goes to Georgia. He goes to up in Knoxville, stuff like that. And yeah, I've been to Alabama one time, and that's as much as I want to go back. Because the road we went on, me and my wife, was like Interstate 81, I think it was, and there wasn't hardly nothing out there. It was so quiet, it was so dull, and just oh my gosh, I could not wait to get home. And she wanted to go out there on a whim just to do something, and I'm like, well, why? She wanted to go see some girlfriend of hers or something friend. And it was just spontaneous, and most of the trip she slept and everything. And I'm like, we got to turn around, bro. We can't do this on your whim or whatever. It just I didn't say that, but eventually we turned back around and everything, and I got so sleepy and I ran off the road and hit a sign, scraped the car open and everything, and she drove the rest of the way home. Well, a good bit of the way home, and then I drove the rest. And boy, we were glad to get back in South Carolina. Here, I'll tell you what. Hello, Epic Chicken. How you doing? No, I don't know Scottsboro. I've never been there before. My dad had my dad had a wife that lived in Alabama. Funny story. It's really funny because back in the 80s, I think it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was the 80s. 87, 88, probably 89, something like that. Probably 88, 89. She moved from Alabama, and her and my daddy decided they were going to get married. And my mom, which speaking of which, I got to help my mom get that notary thing. My mom was a notary public, and as a notary, you can marry people in South Carolina. I've done it myself. I became a notary there, and she married, and she definitely had that Alabama accent, man. It was something else, and that's all they would say. Roll Tide, Roll Tide. Oh Lord, every time you talk, Roll Tide, Roll Tide, and well, like here, you see a lot of people like Go Balls, and then there's Roll Tide. It's like makes me sick just hearing it. I mean, people want to say that, that's up to them, but it just I can't go for that. I'm not in that. I'm not a football guy, especially that kind of thing, college football. I don't even like NFL. I mean, once in a while I'll watch it, whatever, with family, but I don't jump up out my darn seat and go crazy and nuts over it. But yeah. But anyway, my dad married her and everything, and about 2 months later, oh my gosh, she was gone. She left him, went back to Alabama, and yeah, her her daughter's children, boy, they love me. They're like, Uncle Butch, I love, we're Uncle Butch. And I had like stepsisters I didn't even know. I was like, oh, oh we weren't really, you know, we only known each other like a month. And she was gone, boy. They, her and Daddy got in an argument or something or other, and she decided just to take her stuff on back to Alabama. So anyway, can't believe you are giving all this info to a 12-year-old. Well, how was I supposed to know you're a 12-year-old? You come on my channel. I didn't come on your channel. Okay. The only thing I really said is it's just my dad and the woman didn't work out, and I just don't like college football. That's pretty much all I said. I think there's some nice things about Alabama. Um, I think Kent Hovind over is in Repton, Alabama. He was like creation science type of dude. He's supposed to have built some kind of attraction there, like Dino Adventureland or something like that, and the Ark and all that together. And you know, I'd like to go there and see that. And then they got one in Kentucky, the one that Ken Ham had something to do with, but the Ark and stuff. But yeah, that would be nice to go over there and see all that kind of stuff. But I ain't breaking my leg to go over there and do that. No. Well, I'm glad you like the info. Okay, the boys quit running. I might go out here and start doing my walk now. Because in an hour I got to get on back to the house. I just like to have it to myself. Of course, that's not going to be possible. Might do a few laps. I got to burn off some of this Chinese food. But here lately I've been more into as far as the channel goes and stuff. I've been more into doing stuff about he's a pretty girl again. Doing stuff about Amy Lynn Bradley. And I tried to sleep here most the other day, but yesterday, but I looked and there was like nobody on there. Let's screw it. Sometime when I get on there and everything, I put those things on and get some sleep. But I usually have them on anyway. People get on there and watch and everything, and there's like this one or two people like seeing that kind of thing. I don't know why, but and then again, why in the world I like to do videos on it? I just like to show the comfort, I guess, of being able to sleep with those kind of things over the years and stuff. You get a lot of. I mean, they help a whole bunch. Um, Especially when, in my case, I got cars going up and down the drive behind my house or beside my house. It goes up to the school, and it's kind of like a bit of a steep drive, and it's called Mountain View School. So they go up and down, and whenever they get up there, they're hitting it and everything, especially with buses and diesel trucks, and I'm like, come on, quit being so damn noisy. But yeah, it gets kind of loud at times, and my dog's constantly barking at the cars and trucks and whatever. And then there's dogs across the street. When they start barking, he'll get up in front of the window and start barking himself. And I'm like, hush! And he looks at me and starts whining and everything. Quit, hush! And then he'll stop for a little bit. Then he'll start doing it again, as if I didn't even say anything to him, like he didn't even hear me. So. Sushi and Chinese food. Yeah, I like Chinese food too, but not all that other stuff too. I mean, I like certain parts of it and stuff, But people say it got a lot of MSG in it and everything. I guess that's really pretty much anywhere you go here lately. There's a lot of salt and things, preservatives, and uh, me and my son was trying to get some stuff for like a lunch type of stuff, taking to work and all. I'm on third shift. Really, I really don't need to be eating at nights too much, but I get a little hungry, not very much, because most of the time during the day I usually eat a little bit more than I should. But I'm trying to stay away from a lot of salty type of stuff and a lot of stuff with fat in it. You know, if it has over 20 grams of fat, I'm probably going to stay away from it. If it has a little less than that, I'll probably deal with it. But the less salt, less fat, better, and not less I can do something like this to kind of burn it off. But unfortunately for me, being 54, I can't run or anything. I mean, I can if I do it enough, I suppose. But I can get up a little bit of a jog. But I'm afraid I'm gonna mess my boots up. And it's too darn uh, cheap, I guess, to get me some shoes, and I have to change my. And I can do that. I can change my boots into my shoes and everything, and just sit them right here on my floorboard, and just put my darn shoes on, go out here and walk, and then come back in and or just keep my shoes on until I get home. I can do that, but I gotta get shoes though. You got one guy walking this way, another, and they got a couple with a baby walking that way. Oh, no. Oh, she's going to take a picture now. So I'm going to wait until they come over here with the baby. Show what I'm talking about. You got one guy way over yonder. Yeah. There he is. There he is right there. So if I start walking that way, I'm going to run right into him. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And I like going this way. I don't want to have to end up going that way, so I'll stay behind them. I like going that way. Okay. Well, enjoy your soccer. Enjoy your soccer practice, man. Have man, gal, whatever you are, gal, guy, girl, whatever. I hope you enjoy it. Have fun. Hello. Well, I'm gonna go out here and get to it. Get out of here about 7:30. It's 6:30 now. Let's see what I can do about an hour. By the time I get home, I'll probably be all sweaty. I'm gonna take a little shower and clean up a little bit and get my butt into bed for about an hour and get off to work to about, leave home about 9:20ish, and go from there. Work tonight, and tomorrow night I got 2 nights off. Then next week I got to go to the eye doctor because I don't take certain eye drops, I get glaucoma. Angular glaucoma. Let's see here. Oish. Ankles are hurting a little bit. Try to do this about every other day. Well, what I'm gonna do is this is gonna be my starting point. See where that water fountain is. If I count this as 1. When I pass by that tree there, I'll say I'll say 1, then at 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so forth. See how much power I got on my phone. 66. Might start to die out. So here we go with 1. Wow. That's what it is. That drain is clogged up. That's why it ain't leaking right. Okay. Wait this dude to come by. Yeah, it's draining very little. It should be draining more than that. Need to set a pace. Need to get my legs going. I am walking. Walking to exercise. That's what I'm doing. I would jog, but 1, I'm not used to jogging. 2, when I took karate down there, I used to do that. Jog inside the building there. Everybody else would jog around the track. I'd stay inside and jog because I just didn't want to go out there with everybody. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. When I was probably about 42, 41, 42. Yeah. I went to the cemetery earlier. Up on the hill there. I was going to go do some things, walk around that and kind of do what I was doing about, oh gosh, it was 4 or 5 months ago, about 4 months ago, before I started that part-time job with security with Allied. And it was just before it got cold and everything. It was still nice and warm. It was in October, I believe. Well, yeah, it was October. No, September, before I quit my job with the other security company, Securitas. And that was like the 3rd or 4th time I've been with them. 4 times total. 1 time in South Carolina. And then when I moved here, it's not like I actually quit. I just transferred in a way, so I count that as the 2nd time. Still, because it was another state. And then I left them, came back several months later, 2020. I stayed with them from when I got here, it was 2008 to 2019. Then the following year, went back with them. Dang, these crickets. And that was 2020. How you doing? Damn, he's stuck up. That was 2020, and stayed with them for 3 years. Left them in May. Well, I started with them in January 2020. Then the COVID thing hit, and left them in May 2023. And then I went to work for a security company at the mall over there in Cleveland. That was a bird, Robin. And then, what did I do after that? I didn't like that very much, so I went back to where I came from, but I didn't work for Securitas. I worked for Denso as a temp. Did that about 5-6 months. I got sick, pancreatitis kind of thing, and for whatever reason they let me go, and then I got unemployment, and then I went to work with another security company, Walden Security, at the hospital in Athens, and I did that until December last, not this past, but last 2024 rather. And they decided to let me go for whatever reason. I have no idea. All I did is try to do my job. And I don't know what they let me go for. Still can't figure it out. I think it's one of those patient access clerks was stuck up and snobby. She tried to get one person fired before and another security guard, but she got me. I think that was one of those things, issues, even though I was friendly to her, nice to her. And so then I went on unemployment again, and actually before that I got a small security job, and then I stayed there for like 2 months with security engineers, and then I went to Walden Security. So it was one of those things. And then I got unemployment again. And a mook. What did I do after that? What makes me tick? My heart. That's what makes me tick. If I didn't have my heart pumping, I wouldn't be ticking now, would I? Yeah, pumps blood. Yeah. Well, maybe because of the brain, or the spirit, or the soul that powers and activates everything. So, kind of like that, you know. Me and this dude are going to keep passing each other. I swear I hate that. I don't like doing that. Wish he walked the same direction I am. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But anyway, see, I went from Walden, then I went to unemployment, and then I went back to Securitas for the third time and worked from them from February, around about my birthday last year, until about the end of September. And I quit them because I wanted to get a job with a temp agency. Big mistake. If you don't have let me just point it out to you like this. If you have a job that's not a temp agency and you go to one that is, you crazy. You out your mind. And that's what I did. I thought it might be better with the temp job, but it wasn't, because my back started hurting me and everything, and I was gone that night. First night, last night. And so they let me go there, and all October I didn't have a job. And first part of November, started working with Allied Security, even though it was 24 hours a week. Sometimes it'd be 30 something. Because I had to train first, and I got a lot more hours, and then it tapered off to 24. Sometimes I had to work another 6-hour shift on top of that, so it could be like 30, 32. But you know, that wasn't paying the bills. So I kept looking around, stuff like that. Well, he don't say hey, hello, but he nods at me. I do that there. And anyway, I forgot my count. Where am I on now? I'm on my second one. Am I? Yeah, I'm on my second. But I got tired of 24-hour-a-week job. But what's amazing though is because the job before that last job, I was right across the street. Then I went to a job across the street from that for 24 hours. And now I'm at another job that's like a mile away from both of those jobs. So it's pretty much in that same area. I'm still stuck in the same area. And that's kind of, I don't know if that's coincidence or what, but I'm pretty much still in the same place when I just drive a mile or two less. That's all. What makes you tick? Got a walker over here. He's walking the same direction as me. He's moving his arms back and forth and everything. So I guess that helps. If I didn't have a phone in my hand, I'd probably be doing that. Let's see what time it is. 6:42. I'll be getting on my third here in just a minute. But yeah, I'm just kind of, I don't know what I want to do. What I want to do as far as making more videos and stuff. Like I said, I have a variety of stuff. Really, that's all my channel is. It's just variety. You know, sometimes I kind of stay stuck on certain things, but for the most part, it's variety. That water fountain don't work, dude. But sometimes I'll do stuff on Bibles. Sometimes I'll do stuff on hearing protectors. That's what it's been like here lately. And also Amy Lynn Bradley, stuff like that. But it's just mostly variety. My third lap. I might be able to do 7. I don't know. So here's number 3. On number 3. Sure enough, I'll run back into that guy here in just a minute. He'll look at me and nod. I'll look at him and nod. He probably thinks I lost my mind talking to my phone. Especially when there's nobody watching. At 0. What time is it? 6:44. Yeah. And I'm in 40 minutes. So I'll just see who we got watching here in the next few minutes, and if not, I'll just go ahead and end the live and just focus on walking it out. Yeah, I think that other dude's got a bit of a pace than I do. He's got no, probably about the same. Now that I'm looking at him. But yeah, I just got this thing for Amy Lynn Bradley. I don't know what it is. It's just a lot of empathy for the family, and I just feel like I feel so relatable to her because we're from the same generation. And like I said before, I remember when that happened. It was like not long after Princess Diana died, August, September, whenever it was. And then here we are, March 98, she disappears and stuff, so Amy does. And I don't know why, but it's so relatable. So relatable, even though it's been years. It's just been since the 25th of February, I've been stuck on Amy Bradley mode again, and it's kind of hard to get out of. First of all, when I started watching the show back in the later part of July, the Netflix documentary, I was kind of slow starting. I was looking at all the information. And first I thought she had crossed over to the other room, across the balcony. And I was trying to make up AI interpretations because I used AI as far as my DeviantArt and stuff like that. And Google Meta AI, which is Gemini now. Meta AI and Gemini. So, it's use that for my AI and stuff. And I was like, man, it'd be nice to have something that can move, making like an interpretation of it and stuff. But I couldn't really find that, and whatever it did, it only did for a few seconds, making the picture come alive, Then I found out there was SuperGrok. And SuperGrok was like, this big thing with X. And that's already. What was I saying? I had a thing with X, and so it was like a subscription account, whatever. It was like $20-something a month, and so I played with it a little bit, and it became pretty useful. I was using it to develop characters and stuff like that I had on DeviantArt. Came up with what it was back Christmas of 24, December 24, 2024. I was home, I was on unemployment, I got bored. So I started making characters
made who I call Hannah. She's like a Scottish girl and everything, and it's pretty cool. And they kept making her older. She'd be older one time and a little younger next. I'm like, no, I want her younger. So I kept it older and made that her mother. The original Hannah became Charlotte, and younger became Hannah. So Hannah had a daughter that became Hannah, and the original Hannah became Charlotte, so to speak. So it's pretty cool. And then later, about June, kind of started thinking some fun stuff that would be pretty cool for my DeviantArt. And I made a Scooby-Doo scene. Certain people were putting up on their themes. I thought it'd be pretty cool to have their grandkids of Fred and Daphne. So I kind of used Hannah as a base, and I was really getting into the thing with Princess Diana and stuff. People thinking she's probably still alive and all that fun stuff. I listened to some of Harry's audio book, Despair. And so I'm on 4 now. I listened to his audio book, Despair, as in why he kind of got out of the royal family and stuff like that. And I just kind of got convinced that, okay, well, fine. Maybe Diana's not alive anymore. Maybe she really did die. And that's the last part of June and July. And then that Amy Bradley documentary came on. I'm like, whoa, I remember all that. Yeah. And that's when I started making the Daisy Jones and stuff in June. And then I started remembering, like, oh, wow, I remember all that. Daisy Jones was kind of based off of Hannah. And, also Princess Diana with the pixie haircut, kindness, loving, gracefulness, And so, but anyway, I was trying to blend her being related to Princess Diana because her mother was a Spencer, Daisy Jones, And Daisy Jones's mother was a distant cousin of Princess Diana. So, things like that. That's how I tried to tie it in. But anyway, the story came out, a documentary, Amy Lynn Bradley and stuff. And I really started getting into that. And just looked into it more and more. I got to talk to Brad and everything, and just did some live chats with people, looked into it, investigated some of it myself, and sent some pictures and all that stuff, and schematics and this and that and the other to them, and let them take a look at it and kind of help verify that, yeah, Amy did disappear on that ship somehow or another. But she's taken off of it. I don't know why or how. But she didn't jump, she didn't fall. So I got in that for a long time and kind of steered away from my character, Daisy and all that stuff. Then I kind of got out of a little bit of the thing with Amy and all that fun stuff. But kind of got out of that for a little bit, and then I kind of gingerly got back into it. Hey, danjimasu. How are you? Okay. Kind of got back into it a little bit. Anyway, kind of like 1 minute I'm into it, and the next minute I got back into it again, and it just felt, it's very pathetic toward the families. I don't know why, it's real strong emotion to what they're going through. And you got some people that were there just, oh, Amy needs help. They were just kind of validating her being gay. And that's what Netflix made it all about, being somewhat her being gay and everything. And that wasn't the case. It was more than that and everything. And that camp that was just, especially on Reddit, I was on Reddit when first getting into it, and oh my gosh, they got really volatile, and I got out of that. So that's all they made it about, her being gay, bisexual. I was like, oh my gosh, that's all people cared about mostly. Oh, and she jumped, she fell, she jumped, she fell, she jumped, without even recognizing that Netflix didn't even go into the detail about the two people that saw her on the glass elevator with the bass player after her dad saw her on the balcony, saw her feet. They didn't go into that. You know? Number 5. I'm on number 5 now. So they didn't go into that. And so nobody's really talking about it because Netflix didn't go into that. That's the only information they had. And they want to talk about, oh, she jumped, she fell. But anyway, I got into that. And then that's whenever I was kind of going through a job loss moment. Back in, what was it? Last part of September into October. That's part of October. It's fine for me. I don't know how you did 8 in 20 minutes. That woman just said it's 8. 8 for him. 5 for me. But yeah, I was in like a lull, feeling depressed. I still get depressed at times. Hey, oh, hello again. Danjimasu. All right. I'm on 5. I'm gonna stop at 7. That's all there is to it. Not at 7 o'clock, but whenever I get 5 laps and 7 laps, and I'm quitting. That way I got enough time to wash up if I got to. Won't have to be jumping into bed real quick. About a week or 2 ago, I came out here and I did like 10. Boy, and the bottom of my feet was burning. Well, it wasn't really burning, it was just, I got a callus on the bottom of my foot, kind of right underneath my second toe. On both. One on my foot was a little bit bigger than the one on my right. I think what it is, the knuckle of my toe. That's part of the heel of my toe. Pushes down. And I got like Dr. Scholl's in my boots. But I guess it's, you know, I don't know what it is. But hell, I used to walk around during Amazon and everything, and I was supposed to do that when I was at my other job, a 24-hour-a-week job. But the colder it got, the less I did. Might have done it once or twice, that's about it. supposed to do it about 4 or 5 times every couple hours, but I'm like, nope, I ain't doing that. Too damn cold. And that's when I usually did it. That's when I had that job, pretty much when it was coldest. All right, number 5. But anyway, what I was saying, I kept thinking about the Amy Lynn Bradley story. It was always in my mind, and every once in a while I'll try to look up stuff. I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be something. There's got to be something out there, a paper trail or something with receipts, so to speak, that shows that Amy was abducted or something, or there was something left over before she left, of course, to give. I mean, well, something that says I was here, I existed. Of course it was. She had a bank account, she had an apartment she was about to move in, she had a dog, stuff like that. She had a job she was coming back to start with her aunt and uncle. All these things was prepared for her. When she got back, she was going to do even better than she did before. She cut her hours at the restaurant she worked at, Ruth's Chris, what do you call that place? And while there, she had Tom as a boyfriend. And in the show, it kind of had it. Her and Molly were kind of hanging out, showing her that she was bisexual, showing that she was bisexual and everything. So, and on Styles Weekly, it never really talked about that. That came out in '99, I think, about her disappearance and all. And from Richmond, Virginia. It never really said anything about her being gay. And if it did, what would it have mattered? So, and it wasn't a big deal. But whenever Netflix got a hold of it, they wanted to make it that, they wanted to blow that whole thing up. And next thing you know, you got LGBT people fighting with the Bradleys and everything on TikTok and all this, that, and the other, and all for Amy, all for Amy. Some from Alistair Douglas, and he's the one that had a lot to do with her disappearance, from the way it looks. And they got this thing on TikTok that's called Justice for Amy Bradley and Alistair D. Like, what? What are you saying that for? How about just Justice for Amy? No. This don't make sense. Okay, I'm getting on my 6. It's a big old dog. But it's just something to really pull out in emotions, And it's just it really pulls your heartstrings. And I did a video, was it yesterday, the other day, saying something about she still pulls her heartstrings, things like that. But it's just been last time. I'm on my 6th. I'm doing 7, that's it. He's probably done 10. That dude. But it just plays on the heart. I tell you, the whole situation, the whole account really plays on the heart. And I feel a lot of, wow. Not just empathy, but strong emotional empathy to what the Bradleys are going through. And every once in a while I tell Brad, I'm like, hey, I'm still in it, bud. Because, like he said, sometimes it had died down. There's nobody talking about it for a while and everything, you know. But they go through it. The Bradleys, they go through it every single day. And they've been going through it for almost 28 years. 28 years as far as, in 12 more days, it will be the 28th year that Amy disappeared. And they go through this thing every single day since that time. Some days are better than others, yeah, but it's always in the back of their mind. Amy is no longer here. She's gone. It's not that there's been a body that's been found to prove that. And it would, I guess, in a lot of ways, it would be better for them to have a body that they can have lay physical eyes on or knows there, and know that it's there. It's okay. Conclusion: she's dead. We can move on now. You know, or to know where she is, to have one say, well, she's definitely here, but she doesn't want to come back for fear of this, that, or the other. Or she might be trying to protect somebody. She might have kids. She might have had kids that she didn't want to have at first, but then after she had them, of course, being a mom, she wants to protect them if she has kids. Or she's probably grown close to or got attached to a family that's got something to do with drugs or something, and if she kind of gets too far out, they can try to track her down and hurt somebody or hurt her. Not that she does drugs or anything, but it's just who might be associated with her, tied into her, something like that. Okay, gotta finish up this 6. Then I got one more 7. Whew. What time is it? 7:08. Alrighty. That should take about, might be 7:15 before I get done. 7:17, something like that. But anyway, y'all, I'm telling you, I done looked up most every, I know more now about freaking cruise line ships I've ever had. And it's just something you study, you know, it's something that you want to get into. I've always wanted to be in, ever since this case with Amy Bradley came up, that's all I can think about. Some people try to get me in. One lady was trying to see what I thought about the Zodiac killer and stuff like that, because she saw that how I dug about Amy and everything, and how I got the thing about the balcony and the table, which some of those videos I deleted because there were just so many people out there being so freaking asinine and stupid about stuff. I didn't want them to copy my stuff and try to claim it for themselves. But Brad's like, you know, I think he said it, but I'm not sure. But even if he didn't, that's fine. You know, good idea, you know. Good source. And so some of the things that I sent them, they ended up publishing on the AmyBradleyIsMissing.com. And so that's pretty cool, you know. And that helps them out. That helps them get information. Every little bit of information, it helps. Every little bit of insight helps. You know what I mean? Every little thing toward Amy helps. And I'm sorry though, but I'm just stuck on Amy right now. I'm stuck on Amy talking about her. So the guy with the Zodiac killer, he is his this guy on there, he's his grandson. And he's looking at these cases about his grandfather. Of course, his grandfather passed away. Every bit of information leads to him being the Zodiac killer, and he was also in the Enterprise CVN 65 when it blew up and stuff and all that. He thinks that he caused it or something like that. His grandfather did. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's interesting. But I'm stuck on Amy. I'm stuck on, what am I on now? Yeah, 7. I gotta do 7. Okay. I just might do one more just for the hell of it, just to make sure I do 7. That'd be an 8. But anyway, I can't get my mind off of it, and it's too hard. I can kind of let it go for a little while. I'm still thinking about it every once in a while, but mostly I'm on my mindset on my I was trying to get a job and stuff and all that work, but for the most part it's still in the back of my mind, where is this girl at? Where is this woman at? What is she doing? Is she still alive? And I remember that I kind of wonder about that, about all kind of people. What is this person doing? What is that person doing? How are they living their life? What are they doing at the present moment? How are they faring? How are they doing? I've always wondered about that, about people. What are they doing in their lives, at this very moment? I don't know why, I just kind of got into that thing. I don't know what you call that. And I don't know if that's weird or unusual, but I wonder that about people sometimes, and just especially people I'm close to. Like me and this woman I talked to a couple weeks ago and everything. We used to go to school together and all that, and known each other since 3rd grade. And she's a grandma now, and of course my mother are 2, and a grandma about 3 or 4. Lives over there in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And I remember seeing her through a couple times back after we got out of school and stuff like that. And she talks to me every now and then. There was a good gap of the time when she didn't, after I moved here. And I don't know what happened there. But I've always wondered between those times, how was she doing? What was she up to? But that's just me. I'm kind of get some kind of weird like that. But yeah, I think this is 7. I'll stop at 7. This for sure is 7. I ain't got to do another one. My legs are starting to hurt now. Maybe if I didn't have the phone, I'd probably do 1, 2 more. But it's getting kind of late. Actually, if I would have started 20 minutes earlier, I would have probably done like 9 or 10. But I'm on 7. That'll be enough. And usually when I do this kind of thing, the next night or so, my legs will cramp up. I just need to get some. I don't know how much weight I've been gaining. I think I've been gaining just a little bit more back. Whatever this trend was for the last couple of years since I lost my job, it's been almost a couple of years, 2.5 years or so. And it's like again a little bit more back. And I was into a point, I was 275. And my pants that were too tight got really loose. Lost a good bit of weight. Anyway. birds. Final lap. Get done with this. I'm gonna set my truck for a minute. We talk more in there. And I'm off for a few minutes. I thought it was gonna be 7:17. It's almost 7:17 now, so I got about a couple more minutes till I get to my truck. Feel my legs, boy, they're hurting now. Yeah, boy. Well, that's a good thing, really. Kind of feel the calluses on the bottom of my feet too. Those rough spots. Okay, I think we had enough for now. I think we got through. We're doing what we need to do. We're not meant for all this walking much. Almost done. But back to Amy at Rally though. I just wish there was more of a paper trail. You know. And I think to myself, that's why I kind of abandoned some of those chats and stuff. And others not talking much about it anymore. They're kind of doing their own thing again now. And it's like now, what happened? They're focused on. As the guy was telling me, I was like, y'all not really seem to be talking about it as much anymore. We're all focused now on what happened. I'm like thinking to myself, what y'all decided in one day? We're not going to be focusing on Amy Lynn Bradley anymore. We're going to be focused on what happened to her. We're not going to talk about it as to what could have happened or what might have happened. It's like, what happened? You got stories out now like Savannah, Miss Guthrie, who got taken and everything. There, that's 7. Whew. You know, and I feel really sorry for that lady. And I think what it was is somebody sent out a ransom letter a couple of days after she got abducted. And I need some more tea, but can't get it for free. Unless I was sitting out in the parking lot, but I'm in left. You know, like Miss Guthrie and everything, and everything. So we kind of wonder what happened to her. You know, why would somebody abduct her? An old lady. You know. 7 laps. Well, hey, that was a minute off from what I was saying. That's not bad. Some people have been a little sick around here, and thank God. Knock on wood. Paper dudes, that's wood too. But I haven't got that yet. I haven't got sick yet. I hope I don't get sick, like a cold or something. But hey, March hadn't ended yet. Usually about February, March is when I get little sniffles. Well, I already had sniffles. And just been, nose has been running and been sneezing like crazy for the last several months, more than usual. I think I'd rather have that than be sick, you know. But okay. Somebody's giving me a message about Sora. But what was I saying? Talking about Amy, I guess. I just wish I could. Me personally, I just wish I can go on a cruise on the Rhapsody of the Seas, because they're going to be changing up their itinerary anyway, and just be able to get on that ship. And be able to get on that ship and just go to those places and take pictures, because people who get on that ship, they're like, oh wow, we're so sorry what happened to Amy and stuff and all that and the other, but really they're not on that ship to find out, dig up information on Amy Lynn Bradley if somebody asks them to. They're on that ship to have fun. They have party or cruise or having family time or whatever you want to call it. They're not on that ship to do anything else but that. But and that's understandable. But me, if I were on that ship, I would be quietly, discreetly observing this and that, going to those places and everything that Amy was at 28 years earlier. And I'd be like, hey, Brad, what about this place? Y'all remember going here? Y'all remember going there? And probably drive him crazy, you know. And just because basically the ship has the same structure as it did before and everything, and there's nothing probably changed about it other than a couple of refurbishments since that time. But structurally wise, it's pretty much the same thing. The ship is, as far as going behind the what do you call that place? The Zoomy Steakhouse thing, or whatever. Behind the booth where she was at on a DJ booth with Yellow, where she was seen. And you go down behind that and everything. There's like a stairway. You go down some steps, and there's like a stairway goes into behind that area there, and it kind of goes into the middle part where you can oversee the Centrum and everything, where the elevators come up and all that fun stuff. And that's where it is. There's like this big old open area, and I think there behind that there's some more stairs, and maybe behind that that's where the elevator is. Service elevator goes up and down, which I mean it's practical to even think that there are elevators on there, because the plans show it, that there are elevators besides, or either stairwells that are not for passengers. It's for staff. It's for the employees of the ship. They use those stairways or service elevators to go up and down, and they get supplies from the bottom of the ship and bring it up, because that seems to be where most of the supplies are. And most time when you go look on the plans of a Royal Caribbean ship, you ain't gonna see where all the stuff is stored. You're not gonna see where the crews stay. You're not going to see where the frozen foods are, or whatever thing is stored at. You're not going to see it. Or whether, and then even below that, you're not going to see where the engines are. They're not going to show you all that stuff. They're going to show you everything concerning passengers on up. And like Yellow's room, 1890. Where was that at? That was on the first deck. That was below deck 2. So they stayed there probably below the water line. But yeah, they're not going to show that on the Royal Caribbean ships. They're not going to show every little aspect or what have you on that ship. Because if they did, like Behance or whatever that dude's name is, or whatever, the schematics on the ship and everything. Because if they showed it was on a Vision class ship, that's what Rhapsody is a Vision class ship. Because if they showed all that stuff, then that could give clues and give hints that, hey, this is like where Amy was taken. And there were hatches on the side of that ship, and Brad himself saw those hatches, and they're taking supplies out, putting things in, and that's how she likely got off the ship. And just thinking that freaking bothers me. It just bothers me to no freaking end, y'all. I'm telling you. It bothers me every time I think about it. And I know it does him, and I know it does his mom, and I know it does his dad. How in the world did this woman disappear off that ship, other than being taken off through that area? But the thing of it is, why would the taxi driver lie? Ditchy. But then again, too, David Carmichael. He says he saw yellow. Right. I just got through talking to a lady on here earlier, and they took the Rhapsody of the Seas in January of '98. She says her family does not remember the Blue Orchid Band or anything. So they probably before the Bradleys got on the ship and everything, they probably were just recently added. And then you got a statement from a girl from 1999, a year later, earlier March, that says that Yellow was flirting with her. So how is it that Amy was on the beach 5 months later after her disappearance and Yellow was there? Obviously, still supposed to be working on the ship, but had all the time in the world to go to Porto Mori, miles and miles north of Willemstad or east or whatever, Willemstad, west or whatever, west, yeah, west, northwest, whatever it is. All that many miles, he has all that time to go there and walk with Amy and another guy down the beach. That just don't make sense. It just doesn't. I'm not saying that David Carmichael's wrong. It obviously was a guy that looked like Yellow but wasn't Yellow and everything. And then he has all that time though to possibly get back to the ship. Hurry up and get back to the ship to do a gig underneath the Windjammer or whatever. That just doesn't make sense. So if we can find an itinerary in August, if David Carmichael can say, hey, what day this was, what time it had to be a sunny day, probably in the afternoon. That's the only thing that really confuses me, because David Carmichael didn't give a time of day, or he didn't give it a date of the month. And but you can look on the archival weather and everything, and you can tell what the sun was like, how the heat was, and everything like that during those months. Especially whenever Amy ended up disappearing, you can go back and see what the weather was like, because that's why I think I made some other videos before that's why Amy stayed out on the balcony, because there was a nice breeze out there and everything. And if you look back on our archival weather stuff, you see that there was a breeze blowing, and the way it was blowing, it hit the broadside of that ship on the starboard side of the ship. So that's why she stayed out there, and it all matches up. So what Amy told Brad and what Brad told others matches up. In other words, there's receipts for it. There's things that show and prove that whatever she said about staying out there in the weather, the cool breeze and where the breeze was, it matches up to what the archival weather was showing, how the wind was blowing along that area of Curacao. But it just doesn't make sense that Yellow was out on that beach with her walking and everything. And they say, yeah, it was Yellow. It was him walking with her. The guy looked just like Yellow, but it couldn't have been Yellow, because if he was, why would he go miles and miles and miles away from the Rhapsody of the Seas just to go walk with Amy, when he probably likely had to be back on the ship and do a gig? That probably wasn't Yellow himself. It looked like Yellow. And then a year later, in 1999, or less than a year later, 7 months later from that point, August of 98, Damien had already been disappeared, and that's when David Carmichael saw her on the beach and stuff with another guy in Yellow, supposedly. Saw her tattoos, saw this, that, and the other. Just something right about that doesn't add up to me anyway. But anyway, here it is 7 months later, from August, and he's on the ship flirting with another girl. 1999, mid-August 1999. And don't know whether it was on Curacao, what have you, but he was flirting with her. The girl didn't say whether the ship was in Curacao, whatever, So, and it kind of lines up with the fact that that he got a lot of money somehow or another. He had a bunch of money. Somebody paid him like $60,000, and maybe he could go back and forth. He could have chartered a cab or something, or a plane real quick to well, maybe not a plane, but a boat to kind of get them out there and do a little walk with Amy and get the boat back real quick and get on back on the ship. I don't know. It just doesn't seem feasible, but maybe so. It's, anything's possible. Well, I'm gonna get off here and then ram my mouth too much. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you later.